Did you know there is a National Museum of Funeral History right here in Houston? It's pretty incredible, and the latest exhibit is fascinating. So I'm really happy to be here with the museum president and CEO, Genevieve Keeney Vasquez. You weren't always the president and CEO of this museum, but this is something that you are really passionate about, and this latest exhibit is really exciting.
Yeah, actually, I'm a mortician for the state of Texas. I went to school to become a funeral director, and my journey began volunteering here at the museum, and it cultivated in being the director and overseeing the expansion of the museum and help curate some of the exhibits that we have here. Now I'm the president and CEO, and I love curating the exhibits that we have here.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you guys work really hard, not only to curate these learning experiences and all of this information, but bringing something new to the city of Houston, like the Shroud of Turin. You really have this set up so people can read it like a book. And on the wall, I like that you have the science behind it, and you kind of leave it open to the visitor.
We definitely said that it is proven that this is a shroud of a scourged man, somebody who died with horrendous injuries and wounds. And we understand that the mechanism of those injuries was by the flagrum, and we understand that there was a crown of thorns that was placed upon his head. That's all evidenced by the markings that's left on the shroud itself. And whoever that man is in the shroud is left up to whomever you feel that man is.
Wow. Okay, so as we go through the exhibit, what kind of things can people expect to see here?
Like you said, we talk about the science, and I think that that's very important. But we also talk about the journey of the shroud, the history of it, and to think that this piece of cloth that is made of linen, and if anybody knows linen is frail, and you pull one thread and it'll just keep pulling apart. But if you think about how long this shroud has been documented and in existence, it's truly amazing that it has even survived to this day. The person before the Pope, King Umberto, who was the owner of the shroud, gave a team of scientists permission to come in and study the shroud and carbon date the shroud. And so in 1978, a wonderful group of scientists from around the world came together to test the shroud. So you can see the corner where they cut some of the fabric away to do that carbon dating. But there's some flaws in the handling of these samples, the reporting of the samples, and that could easily be told through independent research. But if you think about when you're folding a cloth, all the cloths are folded, you hold them by the corners and you bring it together, and then you hold it by the corners and you bring it together. And so it's not uncommon to believe that this cloth at one time had to be repaired because of the fragility of linen in itself. If the edges aren't completely sewn to keep it from fraying, it's going to fray. And if you think it's been around since 33 AD, that's a long time, and even before then, right? So, and it's traveled all around and been kept in different containers. And interesting enough, now it's hermetically sealed and kept at the Vatican under the watchful eye of the Pope.
So what are we looking at here?
So interesting enough, the piece that we actually have here in Houston is very unique. I learned that during COVID, to give people hope, they authorized the retrieval of seeds from the vault. Seeds that are taken from the time period of when they believe Christ was crucified. And they retrieved them from the vault and planted them in a field in Bergamo, Italy, to grow flax. The same type flax from that time period. In August of 2020 was the first flowering. The very next day, the flaxseed was harvested. And it was woven on ancient looms to mimic as close as possible the herringbone weave of the original shroud.
Wow.
And then it was laser screen printed, the image that we all come to know as the crucified man, and it yielded 10 copies. 3 were destroyed during the print process. That left 7 for the entire world. We received the 7th copy in the world. But, you know, interesting enough, I remember the Museum of the Bible had a temporary exhibit to the Shroud because they also possess a copy. So there's only 2 copies in the United States that I'm aware of, Washington, D.C. and here in Houston.
What hints do you have for people, or what tips do you have for them when they come in and view it?
First, do not underestimate its size. It's huge. It's
big.
14 feet long. And then to help them understand that you're looking at both the front and the back image of this man. So he's head to head. Are you seeing it?
Right here in the middle is where it splits head to head.
Yes, so here's the back of his head, and this is the front of his head. Here's his eyes, his face.
It's incredible.
So we're so fortunate to have it, and it's a permanent exhibit here in Houston, so it can be a pilgrimage for many people.
All right. Well, thank you for showing us the newest exhibit. I think everyone has got to come and see it for themselves. Incredible, Derek, that we have that in Houston. And for anyone wondering, we have a National Museum of Funeral History. We do. It is in North Houston, and I encourage everyone to go visit. I was just telling the girls, I was telling Lauren, I was telling Yvonne about all these fun facts, and you got to go. It's open 7 days a week. They're located off Barron Springs Drive in North Houston. Visit nmfh.org to learn more, or you can give them a call. They're so friendly over there, 281-879-3063.
I am so glad I watched Houston Life today because I learned all kinds of new things.
Yes.